Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a full solo playthrough of Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. I have everything set up for the solo game. If you are familiar with the first edition of the game, the 2nd edition is very similar. The main changes involve a solo mode, which is in the box, and a little mini variant here using these orange cows, which I'll explain when I get to them. As always, I like to just dive right into these games, so if you don't know how to play, don't worry, I'm going to explain as we go. Let's get started. You set everything up as if you were playing a two-player game, and I've done that. I've randomized the buildings, those starting buildings, randomized the hazards, drawn up the 9 cows here that make up the cow market. I've also randomized my available buildings. I should warn you, I'm playing with poker chips. The game comes with cardboard money there, but I highly recommend playing with poker chips. Now, our solo opponent is Sam. We'll get to Sam, but when you're playing the solo game, the player gets to go first. How nice is that? As the first player, we start with 4 cards in our hand out of our starting deck, 6 money, and 1 of these exchange tokens. And on the first turn of the game, you can start on any building. In general, in this game, we are going to be hopping from building to building, moving along this trail, the Great Western Trail, moving along until we get to Kansas City, at which point we're going to sell the cows that are in our hand. The trick is we can only sell 1 of each type of cow. And so this starting herd that I have here, for instance, is really terrible. I have 2 greens and 2 gray cows. I would only get $3 for this herd if I were to sell it at Kansas City. So I really want to improve this herd before I get there. And these buildings along the path are going to help me be able to do that, as well as adding new cows to my hand, hiring workers that will help me build buildings and move our train along the track. You'll see all of that in action as we go. I think I don't want to pick a building that's too close to Kansas City right now, because I really have to improve this herd. So I think I'm going to start at the second building. I'm going to skip over that building, and I'm just going to start right here on this building. So this building lets me do 2 things. First, it shows that I can sell 2 of the same type of cow from my hand to get 4 money. Well, that's fantastic. I have 2 pairs of cows, so I can go ahead and just sell these 2 grays, which are only worth 1. I can sell these, put them in a discard pile, and immediately make $4. The second thing that this building would let me do is to spend $7 to remove one of the hazards. There are currently 3 hazards on the board, here, here, and up there. And they're worth points. This one's worth 2, 2, and that one up there is worth 4 points. Those will give you points at the end of the game. They also could be useful in some of our objective cards. And you can see like one here that's in the objective card market requires you to have cleared 2 hazards in order to complete it. I have other plans for my money at the moment, so I think I'm going to pass on doing that action. That's it. That's all I'm going to do for my turn. Now, at the end of your turn, you get to draw back up to your hand size. And at the beginning of the game, our hand size is 4. So we'll just draw back up. And there you go. My herd has immediately improved. I now have 2 of these greens, but I also have a black cow and a white cow. So right now, the value of this herd is $6. Hopefully I can make that even better as we move along the path. Now it's Sam's turn, and Sam's turns are super simple. We simply turn the top card of their deck and do what it says. So the top part of that card says that Sam's going to move a number of steps equal to the number of workers in their specialization. Now, at the beginning of the game, we drew a random worker, and we happened to draw a cowboy. So that became their specialization. So they're going to move 2 spaces. Sam always begins at the start of the trail. They're going to go 1, 2, over to the same building that we're on. This isn't like a regular worker placement game. We're not blocking each other from these buildings. Now, Sam sort of ignores what the building says. They're not interested in that. They just do exactly what the card says. That left part says, hey, if engineering is your specialization, then you'll do this. If not, then you do the right side. In this case, Sam will just move their train one step forward. And that's it. That's Sam's turn. Back to our turn. From now on, we're going to be just hopping from these buildings. When we get to Kansas City, after we sell our cows, we'll move back to the beginning of the track and keep moving. We can move up to 3 spaces. If we wanted, we could follow this track 1. We could move through here 2. And then we could come all the way over there for 3. We could move that far if we want to. But I don't think we do. I think we're going to want to stop at a couple of these buildings along the way. We have to move 1. We cannot stay where we are. I think what we want to do is skip over that building. We're going to go 1, and then we're going to come down this path and go to this building right here for 2. And that building says you can sell 1 black cow for $2. And we happen to have a black cow, so I say, yeah, let's do it. We immediately gain $2. And then we can go to the cattle market and buy a cow. Now the cost for buying these cows is right here. Each different cow has a different value, a different number of victory points that it gives you at the end of the game. And the cost is based on the number of cowboys that you have working for you. Right now, I only have the 1. You start with 1 of each of those 3 workers. So at the moment, if I wanted to get in one of these orange cows with 1 cowboy, it would cost $8. If I wanted to get this red 3 here with 1 cowboy, that would cost $6. For one of these 4s, that would be $12. And I can't even access these purple cows because you need at least 2 cowboys in order to do that. I would like to buy a cow, and I think I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these orange cows, just so you can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and pay my $8, grab one of the orange cows, and this goes right into my discard pile. And there we go. That was my action. Sam's up next. Sam's going to move a number of spaces equal to the number of buildings that have been built by any player, whichever player has built the most. Neither of us have built a building, so Sam's only going to move 1 space. And because their specialization is with the cowboys, they're going to take no further actions. Oh, we forgot to draw a card on our turn. At the end of your turn, you always draw up to your hand size. And now it's our turn, and I think, yeah, we just want to go right to this building right here. That's going to let us sell a white cow for $2, and we have one, so I said let's do it. That is, of course, optional. And now we can hire a worker. And what that tile shows is to hire your first worker, you're going to come over here. This is where the workers are that we can hire. And there's costs on the side. Now, right now, the row with this token, you can only hire workers that are above that token. So right now, I could get this cowboy or this engineer for $6. You can also hire a second worker, but your second worker is going to cost you $2 additional on top of their cost. So it is difficult to hire 2 workers in a single action. You're going to need a lot of money to do that. Right now, I don't have that kind of money. I have exactly $6. So I am going to hire one of those workers. And I think I'm going to go for the engineer. No. I think I'm going to go for the cowboy. Now I have 2 cowboys. That's going to make it easier to purchase cows in the future. Let's go to Sam. Okay, we have that same movement, so it's only going to be 1. Now, Sam has an option to come down here or to go this way, and Sam always takes the quickest route. So Sam's going to come over. He's following right on my heels. And once again, Sam's not going to take an action because they are not of the building specialization. I keep forgetting to draw a card at the end of my turn. Our hand has not improved dramatically here. Right now, our herd is sort of worth $5, and we're getting close to Kansas City. I think we're going to skip that building and go straight here to the last building before Kansas City. This one's going to let us sell a green cow for $2. And we have a pair of them there that we want to get rid of, so that is perfect. And then we can build a building. And the cost to build a building is essentially $2 per level. In addition, you must have builders that are at least equal to the level of building. So right now we only have one builder. We can only build a level 1 building, and I only have $2 anyway. So it looks like we have 3 buildings that we can choose from. I sort of like this one right here. This building is gonna let us sell a pair for $3 and give us a free move to the next building. And now we can place it on any of these sort of empty building spots. So I've got to spend my $2. Where do we want to place this? How about we go... I think we're going to put it right there. Okay, there we go. That was my turn. Okay, Sam's moving 1 again. And he's going to move his train 1 forward per engineer. He only has 1 engineer, so moves it 1 forward. Well, once again, I forgot to draw my hand. Ooh, and look at this. I have 2 black cows in my hand. I'm only going to be able to sell 1 of those. So right now my herd is at 5 value. I think I'm going to use my exchange token here. You can use these tokens at any time. You can even interrupt actions to use these. So I'm going to spin that. That lets me draw 2 cards from my deck. And then I can discard 2. And so I will discard those. Perfect. And now I have 4 different cows. I'll be able to sell all of them. This now is a value of 7, which is great. That is exactly what we needed. So now for our turn, we're at the end of the line here. We have to come into Kansas City. There's a few steps here. You can see these numbered steps. And they're very simple. We get to pick which of these hazards to put out onto the board. I'm going to choose this bandit here. And the bandits form this line right there. Now get to decide which worker to put out into the job board. Let's put out another builder. Now it goes in this spot, and because the token is there, we move the token down, and now those builders are available to hire. And we do the same thing here. Let's put out a cowboy. Now we get to sell our herd. And like I said, right now we're at a value 7, so we'll get $7. And then we discard all of our cards. Now we get to place a token from our board onto that top row there. The number under the city is the value that your herd must reach in order to be delivered to that city. Since we had a value of 7, the furthest we can send is to Bloomington. As you can see, there are 2 different types of spaces up there. Bloomington has a white border, whereas a place like Chicago or Toledo has that black border. That affects which of these tokens we can remove from our board. These ones up here, you can only remove if you've delivered to one of the black cities. We are delivering to one of the white bordered cities, and so we can only do these over here or that one right there. We seem to be a little bit low on money. Let's grab that token right there. That's going to make this auxiliary action a little bit better, and we'll talk about auxiliary actions in a second. So we place that token right there to show we've delivered to that city. Now we can't deliver to that city again. because our train is behind the city we delivered to, we're going to have to lose a little bit of money based on these little X's that are there. Since there are 3 of those X's between the city we delivered to and our train, we have to spend $3. So that's one reason why you want to try to move your train as far as possible. We unfortunately haven't moved our train at all. It might be something that we need to deal with. And that's it. Then you're done. You move your cowboy back to the starting position right at the beginning of the trail. And when you're playing the solo game, you move all the tokens that you didn't select down to the bottom. And then you refill the top. And there we go. Now it is Sam's turn.